G'day Gorgeous, and welcome to the podcast that's dedicated to turning entrepreneurial women into a millionaires from the inside out and enriching lives for generations to come. This week's podcast is based on another great question from Charmaine inside our community. And Charmaine's question is this: Hey Amanda, I love helping my clients overcome their challenges and solving their problems, but I absolutely dread the part where I state my price. Maybe you can relate. How do I overcome the fear of not being good enough for my dreams so I can make money and become financially independent? This is a fabulous question, and if you stay around right to the end of the podcast, and you'll want to, I'm going to give you my 3 inspiring questions that turn fear to confidence and your financial destiny around. The Gday Gorgeous podcast is where you're going to get real, raw and relatable stories, guidance and proven formulas that can help you overcome your frustrations and live a life that you truly love each and every day. I'm Amanda Jane Clarkson. I'm a best-selling author, inspirational speaker, entrepreneur, and millionaires mentor. And if you love the idea of being a millionaires too, pop on over and visit us at gdaygorgeous.com or click the link in the notes below. Right now, be sure to have your journal and a nice cuppa. I am going to give you pure gold on this podcast today. And if you're in sales or you have a product or a service, you will want to write down everything I'm about to share. Good morning, gorgeous butterflies. I'll give you a moment to jump on and join me for this week's podcast, which I am very much looking forward to jumping into, based on an awesome question I have received from one of you. I'll give you a moment to get on and join me. Appreciate you getting on here. It's going to be a great podcast this morning, girls. You will absolutely need your journal. I'm going to give you gold this morning based on years and years of being in the trenches, running sales teams, creating sales programs, and actually being a professional speaker from the stage for 12 years. So much to share, but I'm going to jump into a tiny snippet today to answer this question from Charmaine. And I'm going to jump right on into it because we are a little later than always on this podcast. However, thank you for joining me. For you beautiful ladies who are on, I'm going to jump straight into it. I'm going to get into the question that is on the lips of anyone in business. If you offer a service or a product, it doesn't matter. It all comes down to the sales process, because without a sale, there is no business. So if you're brand new to this podcast, welcome. Everyone out there is an entrepreneur in some shape or another, some form or another. And what I'm going to share with you today, you can use in everyday life as well, because whether we like to admit it or not, at the core, we are all sales people. Whether we realize going throughout the day or not, we are always selling something to somebody else, selling an idea, selling an excuse, selling a story. Something is always exchanging. Either you're making a sale or somebody else is making a sale. So this is absolutely applicable in your daily life, but specifically in business. Now, I know a couple of you have jumped on. Good morning, ladies. Thank you for joining me. Especially, there are so many people now out there that offer this service-based type of business. And, the question that's come in from Charmaine is this. Let me read it out. Hey Amanda, I love helping my clients overcome their challenges and solving their problems, but I absolutely dread the part where I state my price. How do I overcome the fear of not being good enough for my dreams so I can make the money and become financially independent? Give me a sign, whoever is in the sales industry out there, or you're trying to make a sale in your business some way, shape or form, if you too can relate to Charmaine and you hate or you dread asking for your price or asking for the money. All these love hearts are coming in. Oh my God. Well, if you stay to the end of this podcast, I'm going to give you my 3 inspiring questions that you can borrow from me. I created these questions, and this is how I have built my own financial fortune, become financially independent through the art of communication and connection. Please start writing these notes down straight away. It is an art form, and really selling comes down to one word. Please write this down: caring. Your care factor will determine how much moolah, how much money you have in your millionaire-ass bank account at the end of the day. How much money flows to you from those who see a value for what you're offering. And, this question comes up so many times. And of course, being a sales trainer myself, being on stage for so many years, selling literally millions and millions and millions of dollars in information products, also millions of dollars in everyday products. So I used to manufacture lots of different products from China, import them into America. I've had Amazon businesses, eBay businesses for many, many years, been manufacturing everyday household products, from fitness equipment to pet products to hair and beauty products, you name it. I've done so much of it, even food products I've manufactured. So what I'm sharing with you really has everything to do with everything. And, I could talk about sales and the art of sales till the cows come home. You can see my face is lit up on the screen, girls. You can see I love talking about this. Most people freaking cringe when they talk about money, especially in a sales role. Most people can't even talk about it. Most people cower away from the idea of even speaking about how they make their money, how much money they make, and what money actually is. Give me a sign if you're relating to this and you cringe away from the subject of money when it comes up. Do you feel like that? Well, if you do, by the time we finish this podcast in 20 minutes or so, you will have a different feeling and emotion based around money and asking for the sale. Because honestly, when you start to understand human psychology, understand what makes people tick, understand the art of fair exchange of value, you will be smiling like me, and you will know your self-worth. You will turn your self-worth. Well, write this down. I'm going to be turning my self-doubt into self-worth, into higher net worth, into higher life worth. That is the golden crown, you might say. Like, everyone's jumping on here. Everybody wants to learn how to turn the fear of asking for your price into something that you stand tall and you have confidence in. So I'm going to leave my 3 golden questions right to the end. But in the meantime, girls, get your journal out, because I'm going to start giving you gold right now. Write this down. Here is an absolute truth when it comes to your business and you're trying to get the sale, you're trying to help somebody. Here's the truth. Price will always be a problem when it's void of perceived value for you and them. So ask yourself, what is the golden word that I just used then? The golden word is perceived value. So your idea of what might be valuable might not meet your prospective client's perceived idea of what value is. This is a critical component, and this is the problem that most salespeople encounter, because they cannot understand for the life of them why the money doesn't flow to them. They can't understand why they didn't close the sale, because they've missed the whole point of perceptions. Now, we talk about perceptions all the time on Gday Gorgeous podcast. Perceptions are your thoughts, and they're the only things that we can control. Perceptions, decisions, and actions. What's that got to do with sales? It's got everything to do with sales. So the thing is, the price will always be a problem if your prospective person or client or whoever you want to call it cannot see a perceived value for the solution that you're trying to offer. So here's a couple of things I want you to think about. Before you launch into your sales presentation, whatever that looks like, you might be selling something face to face. over the telephone or through the internet. It does not matter. You still have to get the emotions flowing, because here's the truth, another truth. Human beings buy everything based on emotion and then justify it with logic. Now, you might have heard that saying, and it goes right back into the Zig Ziglar days and the Jim Rohn days of, all of the amazing masters out there that we learn philosophy from. But do you really understand it? And the underlying emotion that makes people tick, that makes people pull out their credit card and hand it over with a smile on their face. I mean, sales is not about trickery. Sales is not about deception. And I don't know where that connotation comes from. And if you feel that it is, you are absolutely going to fail miserably in your business. We got to change your perceptions on how you think and feel, because that is everything. Your prospective client or person that you're speaking with can pick up on what I call your sparkly bits. What are sparkly bits, Amanda? Sparkly bits are the inside of you. They can pick up on your energy. So if you're feeling icky about the sale, icky about the asking, they are going to pick it up instantly and know that you don't feel confident about what you're offering. This is very important. So there are so many people now that running agencies and things like that, or coaching clients, or whatever you're into, it doesn't matter. But a lot of the sales these days, and a lot of people teaching how to do the sales, are by phone appointments. Now, I have literally, since leaving school, sold millions of dollars in products and services over the phone. Everything from small ticket items to a $50,000 sale over the telephone. Yes, that takes skill. That takes a lot of practice, but most importantly, it takes a massive mind shift to go from the dollar-air thinking to the multimillionaire-esque thinking, to be able to move someone through this 9-step process. I'm not going through the 9 steps today, but I might on another podcast, depending on how popular this one is. But you've got to move people through this process emotionally, understanding that they're not going to buy based on logic, they're going to buy based on emotion. So that is a critical component. So if I was going to pick up the telephone and speak to any one of you beautiful princesses about something that I wanted to share with you, here's a couple of things that I always do. And this is what I taught. We actually had 14 people in a sales team that I ran in my company for years and years and years. And I would be the one that did all the sales training. I wrote all the courses, I wrote the scripts, everything, and actually taught this stuff. So I know it works. So here's a couple of things that we used to do to close a very, very high percentage of anybody that we spoke with. The first thing that I would do is this. You must know what your state, your personal being, what state it's in. You must change your state. Now, if you pick up the phone to speak to anyone, or you're trying to make a sale face to face, and your state, that's your body, your presence, your energy, is all running on fear, running on the idea of, shit, what happens if I don't make a sale? I can't pay the rent this week, or I can't pay my mortgage. Wrong. You will frighten them away. You must change your state and disattach from the outcome. Write this down. Forget about you. This is not about you. This is about them. The first thing you must do, change your state. Disattach from the outcome and get a freaking smile on your face. Not a face of fear, not a face of self-doubt, and not a face where you're thinking about you paying your rent or your mortgage or what you're going to spend the money on. You need to get into their space. You need to get present and focus on them. And here's the golden question that I ask. Give me a sign, ladies, if you're with me and you love this. The golden thing is, I always say to myself before I pick up the phone, so I'm going to imagine that you're making a sale over the telephone, all face to face. I say to myself, Amanda, how can I change somebody's life today? Now, when I say that, How do you think that makes me feel inside? Like literally my face just lights up. So any of you angels here that are listening to this, if I was on the phone to you and I had something that I wanted to offer you that I know would change your life, first thing is I'd say, how am I going to change your life today? How am I going to take you from a world of pain to a world of pleasure? How am I going to do that? And instantly I have a smile on my face. What does that do for my sparkly bits? It raises my vibration. It raises my energy. And I've taken the focus from Amanda needing the money to you, wanting to help you, wanting to serve you. Can you see the difference? It's completely different. This is why I love sales. I think sales and sex is a sexy word, and I've coined the phrase for myself, for my millionaires ladies, soulful selling. Write it down, soulful selling. This is only a snippet of what I call soulful selling today, but I'm going to be talking a lot more about it. So the question is, how can I change your life today? And so this is what people want less of. It is very important. Remember, I just said, people don't buy based on logic, they buy based on emotion. But what is the underlying emotions that they want to get away from? Remember, people are always wanting to move from pain to pleasure. People will more likely move and pay for a service or a product if it can move them from pain more so than just going straight to pleasure. So what do they want to get away from, ladies? They want to get away from stress, debt problems, pressure of life, the demands of life, insecurity. They want to get away from self-doubt, loneliness, all these things that we go through in our head at night. The question I say to myself is, wow, what keeps my prospective client awake at night? I literally think about them, crawl into bed with them, you might want to say. This is what some people say. Or, step into their life, step into their shoes. And this is what I always say. I think I've coined that, said it in my own book that I wrote here. I know you girls. I've walked thousands or 1,000 or thousands of miles in your shoes. I understand the underlying emotions, the fears and the challenges that we have in our life. This is what people want to get away from. Now think about your product or your service and ask yourself, how are you trying to sell that? Through a logical process or through an underlying emotional process where you actually freaking care? If you don't care for people, forget it. You will never ever be financially abundant or financially independent unless you truly care. And I'll tell you why in a minute. So what do people want more of? They want to get closer to their family. So they want to get away from stress, away from worry, self-doubt, and they want to move closer to the people they love. They want abundance in their life. They want more ease. They want definitely more time and more money, certainly more confidence, more clarity, much better health moving into their latter golden years. And of course, as humans, we all want peace of mind. Now, give me a sign if you relate to that and you agree with that. Can you start to see the ickiness is not there now? Because if I was chatting to you one-on-one, face-to-face, or over the telephone, I would be asking you intelligent questions. I want you to write this down. Questions are the answers. You must become a master at listening. You must be a master at caring. And you need to listen to what their underlying wants and needs are based on their perceptions, not yours. This is a critical component. If you want to sell millions of dollars in your products and your services and create abundance for them and you must know this stuff. I mean, this is just a tiny little snippet of the overall understanding of sales, but it's important. And then I ask questions that start with what, when, why, how, and who. They're my 5 golden key pointers that I begin my process with each and every time. Specifically, what is missing in your life? What do you want more of? What do you want less of? Why is this important for you? Who's it going to impact? How's it going to impact? Tell me more about this. Tell me more about that. I could just sit here and talk all day, couldn't I? I hope you're taking lots and lots of notes. This is gold. I could do a whole 2-day seminar just on the sales process, just on the 9 steps of the beginning right through to the end, so that you cannot wait to pick up that phone. You cannot wait to get one-on-one with the person that you believe you can turn their life around for. This is what it's all about. And so I ask these open-ended questions, not questions that I can just get a yes or a no answer. That's not moving people through emotionally. And believe it or not, most people don't speak or don't want to give you as much information as I'm giving you now. And it takes skill, it takes time in the saddle to become a master at this. But it just understanding the underlying ways that people think, the underlying ways that things that we respond to, things that we don't respond to, all these things really do matter. And your role is, as a salesperson, and you all are, whether you like the word or not, I'm going to call it sexy salesperson or a soulful sales lady or a guy, okay? You must help people. This is your job, to see a brighter future. Isn't that beautiful? I mean, what is icky about that? When you speak to somebody about what you have to give them and you say to yourself, how am I going to change this person's life today? How am I going to help them see a brighter future? Because most people can't see a brighter future. Most people are living lives of quiet desperation, hating their life, hating their job, hating their boss, wanting more money, wanting this, that, and the other. Your role, our role, is to help people see a brighter future. That's what I do as a mentor, a millionaires mentor. What are you doing in your business? Are you helping people see a brighter future? It doesn't matter if you're selling a widget or life insurance or internet selling, internet programs or, Google ads or Facebook ads. You're an agency. It doesn't matter. You might be selling health and fitness programs or health and fitness equipment or beauty products or dog and cat products. I mean, I'm just making this up as I go along, right? Because I've sold so many things along my life. This is all the same process. And here's one of the most golden things I learned many, many years ago from one of the world's best sales teachers from America. And he said to me, if you connect from the heart, there will always be a sale. But if you try and come from the head, there is no sale. Because people don't care how much you know, they want to know how much you care. And people truly do want to believe in you. Now, that is profound, and I hope that you wrote that down because it is golden. And understanding what makes people tick and speaking from the heart instead of the head can literally change their life and change your life in all 7 areas, from wealth to health, abundance, happiness, fulfillment, meaning, you name it. If you understand that and you live it and you breathe it and you start to train yourself to think differently, you will know it and you'll start to ask for the money that you're worth, your price that you're worth. I'm going to give it to you in a minute, how I get around that. This is about turning self-doubt to self-confidence, self-doubt to self-worth, raising your net worth, their net worth, and both your life worths. If that makes sense. And if you move to the heart space and truly help understand or them understand their wants and their needs, and you have a clear, valuable solution for them that they understand and agree with, what happens is this. Both of you, the walls come down because you're coming from the heart, not the head. You're coming from 2 human beings and the energy just shifts. The walls come down, the fear dissipates, and the benefits will far outweigh the cost. And the cost then becomes an investment. My God, I hope you got that. If not, wind this tape back. It's not a tape, it's a recording. Take this podcast back and listen again. That is gold. What dissipates the fear? Heart-based selling. I don't talk about coming from the head logical process. No one cares about that. They want their problems solved. Give me a sign if you just got that and you know in your heart, in your intuition is saying to you, yep, this information can literally turn my life around. And more importantly, the people that I'm wanting to serve. Think about your product, think about your service and how you're taking it to the market. What could you tweak? Because right now I'm going to give you 3 questions that I know, because this are the questions I wrote them, I live by them, and to this day, since 2005, I started writing these questions out. Actually, in the year 2000, when I first became a personal trainer for a few years, these are the questions I wrote out because I got the money up front. When I was a personal trainer, I would literally state my price up front and ask for 3 months in advance. Now, coming straight out of university, straight into a personal training studio, it was my own personal training studio, thinking to myself, my very first customer that walked in that door was a girlfriend of mine. I'm going to share this with a story because you'll really relate to what I'm saying. She was a girlfriend of mine. Previous business to me becoming a personal trainer was I had a big name brand video store. This particular girl, her name was Yvette, or is Yvette, I should say, Yvette. And Yvette was one of my dear customers that would come to the video store literally almost every day. She just loved movies. She was a real movie buff. When I started the personal training business, I said to Yvette, would you please come and have a free training session with me? I just want to see, what my service is like. I would just love to take you through my 30-minute training session, and would just so appreciate your feedback because I know you'll give me your honest thoughts because we've become friends. And the video shop and the personal training studio were literally maybe less than a mile away from each other. So this is my very first day, and in fact it was my birthday back in the year 2000. It was my birthday. Yvette comes to the personal training studio, walks in, and we're both nervous. This is my very first session. Anyway, I said to myself, Amanda, just let it go, have fun. Yvette's one of your best friends. Just enjoy the moment. Anyway, Yvette and I went through the whole process. We laughed, we had fun. I asked her her goals and her dreams, what she wanted less of, what she wanted more of in her life, where she saw herself in 6 months, 12 months, 2 years from then. And we just went through the motions. I had everything written out. Everything was perfected. At the end of the 30 minutes, I gave her a 5-minute stretch and a 5-minute massage. And then the moment came. She knew it and I knew it. It was the moment of truth. Was Yvette going to walk out the door, or was I going to dig deep and find the courage to say, Yvette, not only will you come back and train with me forever, but I would like some money up front. Now, back in those days, we didn't even have credit card machines. I'd never even sent an email. So that's really telling you how young I am. And there was only cash. And so all these thoughts were going through my head. Oh, shit, what if she doesn't like it? What am I going to say? What if she says no? Give me a sign. Already we're all sweating, right? This is where the sweating begins. And it was in that moment. And I remember I looked Yvette in the eye and I asked her, I said, Yvette, how was the training session? Give me your honest feedback. Did you enjoy it as much as I loved showing you what was possible? That was my question to Yvette, and I shut up. I didn't say another word. She didn't either. She didn't say a single word. What felt like an eternity, it was probably 10 to 15 seconds. Then she looked me in the eye, she burst out laughing, and she said, that was some of the most fun I've had for years and years. She goes, I've never wanted to do exercise. I've always hated exercise, but the way you took me through, you made it fun, you entertained me, you really listened to what I wanted. You didn't put me on the scales or pinch my flabby bits or anything like that. We talked about Yvette getting into a dress that she wanted to wear in 6 months' time, and I painted this incredible, amazing future that was possible for her. And I said to Yvette, I'm so glad that you feel that way because I feel the same way too. And then I said to her, would you love for me to be your personal trainer from today forward, and I would love to see you each and every week. And there was no hesitation. She said yes instantly. So that was the best bit. And then I said, so here's how it works. Here's my prices. Here's how I operate. Now, I'm speaking to a very good friend of mine, and I needed to state my price, okay? Yes, I was a little bit sweaty back then. I was glowing, you might say, because I was a bit fearful. But I kept eye contact, and in my heart, I knew this was right for Yvette. And I'm going to give you the 3 questions, so hang in there. And I said, Yvette, you will need to go downstairs to the ATM and get some cash right now, because I'm going to ask you to accept the very best offer that I have. And that's 3 months in advance, because when you invest in yourself and you invest in the 3-month plan or the option, I'm going to give you 2 hours of my time as a gift, not for free, as a gift, to say thank you for believing in yourself and for believing in me. I didn't say another word. I just shut up and sat there. Yvette went quiet again for another few moments, which seemed like forever, but was probably about 10 seconds. And she goes, I'll be right back. She goes downstairs to the ATM, comes back with a fistful of cash, whacks it on the table and go, there you go, let's get going. In that moment, my world shifted from self-doubt to self-worth, from self-doubt to confidence. And I'm going to share something with you, a very important lesson. So I remember running home that night, and I'd never been paid cash before in my business. We literally just didn't have any. Back in those days, it was the old click clack, where they give you the credit card, you put the paper down and you go click clack. I ended up getting a couple of those machines, and the rest is history. That business was incredibly successful. And as you can see, I loved it. You can probably feel it through the phone here or through this recording that, I was in my element. I love helping people have the most amazing lives that they can. I love the impact. And so why am I telling you that story? I think this story really is about to relate to the 3 questions. If you have a service that you would love to sell more of, you have products that you truly know can enhance and enrich people's lives, and you're scared of what some people might say, you're scared of the no's, and finding that self-value within. This is what it comes down to. Self-worth is the main question behind the question. Here are my 3 questions that I would go to bed every night and think about. Question number 1. Give me a sign if you want this information. Heart-based selling and services. I love it. Love it. Give me a sign if you want these 3 questions, or I'll stop right now. I know you want them. Okay, number 1 question. This works for anybody. Here they come. All the love hearts. I know you want more. I think we should do some more sales training in this podcast. I love talking about it. Why? Because it enriches lives. That's why. The first question I say to myself when I want to ask for the money that I know that I'm worth, I say, Amanda, so I'm talking to myself now, girls. You're going to stand in front of the mirror and do this work. It's mirror work. Look at all these love hearts coming in. Show me the money. The question I say is this. Would I pay the exact amount of money I'm about to ask this person for? And the second question I say from that is, have I invested this amount of money and even more into my own self-education? And then from this is still question 1. Am I a fraud or am I an expert? Do I walk my talk? And can I truly empathize with the client and give outstanding value? These are very, very important questions. Have I quantified and qualified the investment? That is critical. They want quality. They want quantity. Does the money that you're asking for match that? Or have you just gone, what's everybody else in the industry charging? This amount, that amount. Well, I'll just copy them. That does not work for the long term. You might get 1 or 2 customers, but they'll nick off because you're not quantifying it or qualifying it. It is vitally important. Yvette, for instance, could see I walked the talk. I was an expert. I knew what I was talking about. I was an athlete at the time myself. I understood her wants, her needs, her desires. I could paint a brighter future. I could future pace her and take her to a place in her mind that she wanted to get to. Could I quantify it? Yes. Could I qualify it? Yes. Did I walk my talk? Yes. Had I invested in my own education? Yes. Years and years and years at uni. Years as an athlete myself, I understood it. Years in personal education, training my mind to understand human behaviour. So that one was ticked off. The question 2 that I ask myself every night before I go to bed. And then if my own parents or the people that I care for and love the most, the people that I respect the most in the world, wanted to purchase my service or my products, would I happily accept their money plus charge an extra 10% for the pain in the backside factor because they're going to ask me questions? And could I look them in the eye knowing that their life would be enriched from using my product and my service? That is the question. If you cannot look your best friend, your parents, those you love and respect the most in the eye, like I'm looking at you right now, and say, this is my price, this is my worth, this is the value that I'm bringing to your life, and here's the impact it's going to have on your life, you've got the wrong product, babe. You've got the wrong service and you shouldn't be in business, or you need to be trained. But if you can say, hell yeah, I would charge the extra 10%, maybe 20% for the pain in the bum factor, Amanda. You've got it right. 3rd question that will help you sleep like a baby every night. When I go to bed tonight and I think about the people's lives that I served and that I impacted today. See, I'm all tearing up now, just me reading this. You probably can't see it, but you can hear it. You know, this makes my heart sing, and you can see it in my eyes, right? When I go to bed, the people that I impact, the people that I serve, and the money that I ask for in exchange of value, will I sleep soundly tonight with a smile, knowing that my offerings truly made an impact. Now, you can see in my eyes that I am saying this from inspiration, not external motivation. If you cannot go to bed at night and sleep like a baby, you need to question yourself. You need to ask the reason why. Is it your product? Is it your service? Is it your lack of self-belief? Are you a fraud? Are you an expert? Do you just need some extra training? Do you need to change your perceptions? There are so many underlying factors here, but those are the 3 questions. And that means no matter what anyone says to you, you can never be rattled, because you know in your heart of hearts, you have done the best that you can to impact and enrich another person's life. So that is my podcast today. I can go on and on and on, because as you can see, I love talking about this. To become a millionairess from the inside out. You can see why I say that. To have the money show up in your bank, to feel good about asking for your worth, you need to understand how humans think. You need to understand how we behave, what motivates us to buy, what inspires us to buy, what do we think about, what keeps us awake at night, and how you can shift somebody's life into the future where it's much, much brighter. So ladies, I would love any questions on that, any comments, and how you felt about that. I would actually really be interested. Most importantly, what was your thoughts about selling before this particular podcast? Now, when I've explained it like this, soulful selling, that I like to say it in my Millionaires training here, and how my perception of selling is, and how I've trained many, many people, and this is the way I offer my services, my products, even my Millionaires course that you'll be hearing about very shortly, it will be soulful selling. If I cannot take you to a place that lights up your world, there will be no sale. It's not right for you. And you've got to understand that your product and your service may not be right for everyone, but for those that you can truly shift their heart, Your life will turn around and so will theirs. So ladies, thank you for joining me. Share your aha moments, share your learnings, share your breakthroughs. Because sometimes as humans, we've got to have a breakdown to have a breakthrough. Okay? Please keep sharing because it keeps us all inspired and it keeps us all growing and moving towards the light. Awesome. Okay, ladies, that's me for today. Sending you cyber kisses, cyber hugs and cuddles, and I will chat with you real soon. Okay, that wraps up this week's podcast. Wow, as you can see, today's podcast was one of my favorite subjects and probably one of the most powerful I've ever done. No doubt you could relate to the story in so many ways, and you know my intention is always to help you live your life by design and never by default. So appreciate you tuning in to the Gday Gorgeous podcast that's dedicated to turning entrepreneurial women into a millionaire from the inside out and enriching lives for generations to come. And of course, I would be grateful if you would please share this podcast with your family, friends, and others that you know who would greatly benefit from the pure gold that I love to share. Lastly, to find out more about my Millionaires mentoring for entrepreneurial women, my latest book, From Frustrated to Fabulous, and inspirational stories, please pop over and visit me, gdaygorgeous.com, gdaygorgeous.com. Until next week, be bold, be courageous, and be even more fabulous. Thanks for tuning in. Bye for now.